Alright, this is Jeff from Hodgepodge Hoosiers. I just wanted to, I've been working on my project truck, and I wanted to give you a first-hand look. I haven't had it started or running or nothing today, and this is the exhaust pipe sticking out. And I'm going to go on the other side of the truck, and I'm going to start up and let it run for just a minute, warm it up just a little bit, and I've already done a compression test and all of that, and the results was not good at all unless I did something wrong. I'll go over some of that with you, but I wanted to show you that it doesn't smoke, um, and just kind of go over everything and kind of give everybody an idea of what where I'm going with the video on the truck itself. Anyway, stay tuned with me here, and I'm gonna go start it up. I'll let you guys. I'll keep you playing, and I want you to see for yourself. So, as you can see, no smoke. Um, that's one of the first things that you think of when the motor is bad or rings or something. And keep in mind, I was told that this was rebuilt. They didn't know exactly, but roughly 30,000 miles ago. So, there's no smoke. So, but you can actually hear it missing as well. So, I'm going to get some tools together, and there, it just come off of fast idle. Now you're seeing a little bit of moisture coming out of the exhaust. I hope you guys can see that. Some of that I know is normal. How much of that, I don't know. I know I remember lots of trucks in the day that used to do that just because everything's heating up. I will say that does seem just a little bit excessive there. It's literally running out of the exhaust onto the concrete. But I don't know that it's abnormal. You guys tell me in the comments, please, if you think that's excessive. But I'm just going to stand here for just another couple minutes, let it warm up. I'm going to go get the hood open while you guys are sitting here watching that. I know that's kind of boring to some people, but all you mechanics out there, and maybe you can teach a shade tree mechanic give him some good advice. The steam, it looks like it's almost quit, but I still see a little bit of moisture dripping from the tailpipe. I mean, that's why your tailpipes rust out so bad, is because of moisture. So, I mean, I know some of that's common sense. When you start it up, it gets hot, it starts warming up, so it gets rid of the moisture. So, anyway, enough of me wasting time. I'm gonna go get the hood open and grab some of my tools. And for another minute or something, I'm just going to let you guys run and look there and see what it is. I'll even give it a little bit of gas from under the hood so you can kind of see what's going on. And as you know, again, I still see no smoke. Anyway, I'll shut you guys off here for just a minute while I gather all my tools, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. I've got you set up here in the front. Um, Not sure what you can hear and what you can't. You can hear a ticking now. It seems. If I was guessing, I would have to guess under the in the valve train. I don't know, but you can hear something there now, almost actually ticking. Where when I first got it, honestly, I did not hear that. At least not this vivid. Um, I have drove it. Um, I'm not sure exactly on the miles, maybe 50 miles total. I drove it up to a place and had the exhaust fixed, and then I drove it down to have the tires put on to another close small town from where we live. That's all I drove it. Um, Honestly, I at this point don't know if I can trust it. So after I did the timing light. I did buy me a timing light. I bought me a compression test. Um, this is just a Harbor Freight special. Same way with the timing light. The timing light's the first time I ever done it in my life, believe it or not. But if you've never done it, it's actually, I'll just say, I think it's kind of neat that you can use something like that and set it up that way and it works. The truck was right on time, according to that timing light. And I did a compression test of all the cylinders. And just so you know, this is what come up with on the compression test: cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. And as you can see, not real good. And then when I got over here to number 7, I checked that number 7 two different times, and I could not get any reading at all on cylinder 7. And number 8 wasn't real great either. Well, I mean, from what I've read on the internet and what I have talked on some of the Ford site, on the Ford groups, especially the F150 in these years, uh, it looks like overall the truck isn't great. But these low ones and that one, number 7 and number 8 both, but all of them's not great, but number 7 is a big issue. How's it running that well? How's it running at all with no compression? Maybe somebody can explain that to me. Uh, Again, all this got my attention from the kind of the vibration or shaking of the truck, and it sounds like by ear, it sounds like it's got a miss. Again, I don't know how much you can hear and how much you can't. That's the only thing bad about doing a video on things like this, or even how far as that goes, how much you can see. But I wanted to touch base with you. That's this right here is the results, and this is probably backwards, and I'm sorry. Number 1's 85, 2's 100, cylinder 3 60, cylinder 4's 100, cylinder 5 is 80, cylinder 6 is 100, cylinder 7 is 0, cylinder 8 is 50. So I wanted to go over that with you. I did that, I guess it was yesterday. The motor should be halfway pretty good warm by now, so I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to shut that off, and I'm going to I'll show you how I did it, exactly how I did it, or I'm going to try my best. You pop this, and after the research that I've done, you pull cylinder 20, I'm sorry. You pull a fused 20 amp fuse. After research, I finally found out what it was, which one did you pull, and then you pull the coil wire. So by pulling this fuse and by pulling the coil wire, which I also put a new coil on, by the way, after you do both of them, the fuel pump won't kick in because you disabled it by pulling the fuse, and then the coil wire don't allow no spark to go through. So therefore it can't start. That's basically the short term of it. Okay. Um, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go over again. This is cylinder 5, 6, 7, and 8, and we're going to grab number 7 immediately, and I want to see, because I have read something else to where if it isn't too hot for me to get the plug wire off, I do not have plug wire. I do not have any plug wire pliers. They make them. I do not have a set. If I'd have thought about it, I probably would have grabbed a set. I don't want to burn my hands, so okay, I got it off. I don't want that resting on that hot manifold, so I'm gonna lay it out of the way. I hope you guys can see. I apologize if you can't. I'm gonna pull the spark plug out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just pulled the spark plug out. Again, these are the plugs, the wires, the coil. All of that is new. The rotor, the cap. I timed it yesterday. It was in time already. It was not out of time. Here is the part of the compression test tool. It is, again, it's not a snap-on. It's Harbor Freight, so it is what it is. But I was also told and read that as long as you use the same tool, okay, what I'm doing now, I'm threading that in with that rubber seal on the end of it so it doesn't leak off. Okay, I got it tight. Okay, then you hook this up. It's basically a quick connect, more or less. Okay, now I'm gonna lay that down here. I apologize, you guys can't see it. There's really not a whole lot I can do. But when I get done to turn it over, it says to turn it over approximately 8 to 10 times. It's not going to start because I got the fuel pump fuse out and I got the coil wire off. So all it's going to do is turn over, and it'll build pressure in on top of the piston in the valves and all that. So, all right, here we go. All right, here's the gauge. I'm hoping you guys can see that. It is 0. That's the same thing I had yesterday. I mean, it is literally pegged at 0. I'm not sure. I'm no mechanic. If I'm doing something wrong, please say so. And because right now I have to be honest. I, I'm at a loss for words. I'm in a pickle here because I bought the truck. I was going to fix it up, and honestly, I was just going to start driving it back and forth to work. But at the way it's looking right now, I I may not have any choice. I may have to. I don't really want to pull the engine and go start going through all that at the age that I am and with my arthritis as bad as it is. But I have not ruled that out yet. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Again, if I'm doing something wrong, please say so. Okay. So enough of blabbering. We're okay. I'll push this button here to release what pressure it has, and it had just a little bit, like 5 pounds. If you, I don't know if you could see the needle or not. And again, I apologize if you can't, but it had like maybe 5 pounds in it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this back off, lay that up here out of my way, and I'm gonna unscrew it out of there. And if you're wondering why I'm not using a tool, you don't have to, from what the direction says on the box. Any of you that knows anything about this, it's got a rubber O-ring around it that seals up against where your spark plug goes, and it held. I mean, it had like, I guess, about 5 pounds of pressure. Just, I mean, it was there. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this plug right back in there. That was again, I'm not a mechanic, but from my understanding, that is what you consider a dry test, a dry compression test. So let me get that back in. I'm going to go through this, snug it back up. Oh boy, I'll have to get that in a moment. That's part of it. Okay, that one's back on. Now number 6. Number 5 is the front one. So let's just do that one. Might be easier for me to get to. I'm just showing you. The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do them all. I don't want to bore people to death. But I want you to understand. I want you to see. I want you to see that the compression tester itself does work. Okay, hold on. I'll have to go get my tool. All right. Sorry about that. So we're going to take out number 5, I believe it is, according to the book. We're going to take out number 5. And then we're going to put this right in there. Excuse me. We're going to put this right in there right away. I put on one of them F150 sites on Facebook, actually right after I got this, or not long after I got it, and went through everything, and everybody says, "Oh, do a compression test, do a compression test." I said, "Well, I was under the impression that my cousin said that I'm, I don't think I'm dreaming this, but I thought he told me they did a compression test and everything was good." So here I am now, and I 100% believe, unless I'm dreaming it, and I don't think I am, but I'm positive that he did tell me that. But the 50 or maybe 50 or 60 miles that I drove it, something must have happened, and now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like I said, it's always had the vibration or the shake or the miss or all the above, and whatever was doing all that may have led to this. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out if it's worth fixing, or if I should have just simply start parting the whole thing out, which I don't know nothing about, um, and then go from there. I don't know. There's definitely the cab on this truck is exceptionally well with no rust. It's not near perfect, but it definitely has got some value in it. Uh, anyway, I'm on cylinder 5, and we're going to do the same thing on cylinder 5. Okay, and here we are. If you guys, I'm hoping you can see this. It's right at 80 pounds, and that's exactly what I had written down yesterday. Was on for number 5 was 80 pounds. It's just exactly right. On this gauge, 80 pounds is in the red, which isn't good. And everything that I've read and what some people has told me, these 5.8s and I think even the 302s, the compression should be from 120 up to, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was 120 or 125 up to 170 or something like that. But the most important part, from what I've read and heard, they all should be within 10% of each other. Um, and I don't have that here with this. Um, so, a long story short, now I'll just hit this button. I'm hoping you can see this. I'll hit this button to release the compression test. Yeah, and so my gauge and everything I'm doing works, and I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Again, if I am, in the comments, please tell me before I make a decision on what to do with the truck, because I'm not. I've said before, and I've said all along, I'm more or less a shade tree mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. I really wasn't wanting to pull the motor and do all that. I have done that, years ago when I was, you guys will laugh, some of you, when I was more young and dumb. I could stay up very late hours of the night and sometime into the next morning and then get up and go to work get ready to go to work 4:30. So, but I can't do that no more. I won't do that no more. If I do decide to pull it, which at this particular moment in time I don't think I'm going to. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Uh, but I don't want to give up on it until I'm positively positive that there's a major problem. Which anytime you have a 0 or a 5, let's say a 5, I wrote down 0. I didn't see that yesterday. It may have 5 pounds of pressure on cylinder 7. Because it was up off of that needle there yesterday, but the first one you see is a notch for 20, and then the 30. So yeah, it may have 5 pounds. Uh, and it doesn't smoke. I don't understand all that. Again, I've got a lot to learn. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just trying to see if I can. What got me started on all this was either the vibration or the miss or whatever it was going on with it. I had a lot of people tell me it was the timing, and it's not the timing. The timing light, from my understanding, if it was out of time, even 180 degrees, the timing light wouldn't all that works. And I put my marks on my 10 degrees and I put my mark on 0. And when I first tried it, it was like at 12 degrees. So the only thing I adjusted was the distributor just enough to get it back to the 10 degrees. That's all I did, and it didn't change how it's running, how it vibrates, let's say, or misses, whatever you want to say. Um, Now, there is one other thing that I want to try, and I haven't done this yet. I mean, I'm going to be doing it now if I can figure out how to do it. What I'd like to do is try to get some way to get a red that you can put a teaspoon. I think it's a teaspoon of oil on top in that piston hole. If I can figure out how to do that, and if it's the rings bad, see, that's where I'm confused. I don't know exactly what that tells me. If I understood it right, if the rings are bad, you still won't get nothing. If the rings are bad, the oil will seal enough to give me a little more compression, if I understood it right. Or it's a valve train problem. So, with that being said, I'm going to see if I can get some kind of apparatus together to see if I can drop just a little bit of oil on top of that piston. If not, I'll be back to just probably just end the video. Either way, I'm about done. I wanted to touch base with you guys. I haven't worked on the bed anymore. Like I said, I put the exhaust on it. I put the tires on it. I bought the tires. I had the tires put on. I didn't put the tires on. I had them balanced, so it drives a lot better. But in the side of the bed with the other video on the truck that I did, I haven't went forward with that because I'm not going to put more money into it if this is it for it. I'm not going to do that. Uh, at this point, I don't know what I'm going to do. If anybody has any use, if anybody has any ideas or anything that I can do to figure this out, help me figure this out, please, please comment. Um, and we'll go from there. I'm open to ideas. I'm not sure what else to do, but we will. Right now, I'm open to comments because I don't know for sure what to do. But we'll be right back. I'll see if I can see if I can figure out how to get a little bit of oil on top of there. Okay, guys, I'm back. I don't know precisely everything about this, but I'm going to try to drop a little bit of oil down on top of there. And according to everything I've read, this is called a wet test. And if it seals and I have compression, that oil will help seal around them rings and I'll have more compression. If it doesn't have any more compression, then the oil went right down through past the rings. Then, if I'm understanding this right, if I read it correctly, and if it does, If I do have a little more compression, then the compression is escaping out basically the top end of the engine, I believe is how it was worded. So we're going to try this. Again, we're going to learn together here. I don't even know. Again, just remember, I'm not a mechanic. But with this having zero compression, I don't think I'm going to hurt anything. Or 5 pounds, I should say. I'm probably going to have a mess because I might not have thought this through far enough, but we're going to see what we can do here. I really hate to get oil all over everywhere, but we're going to try this. I Yeah, you gotta go. Definitely gotta pour a little slower. Bear with me, guys. Either way, I bet the truck will smoke after this. That was a joke, guys. Lighten up. Yeah, I know. Joke wasn't that funny, right? Gotta have a little fun in life, right? All right. We got that in. We'll let that straw drain out a little bit longer here. I'm hoping that don't mess my gauge up. I don't know if it'll push oil back up into my gauge or not. I don't want to get oil over that manifold. I don't want it won't hurt anything, but it smoke like crazy. All right. Let me pull that thing out. We are going to let the rag and this over here safely out of our way so it don't get oil over everything. And we're going to see what happens. Let me get her back in there. There we go. Got her started. All right. All right. So we got everything back together. Got it. Now it's time to turn it over. And we have 5 pounds. It didn't change a thing. I hope you guys can see that gauge. I'm going to hit this button. If you can see that gauge, watch real close. Still only had about 5 pounds. All right. So, if, again, I'm taking this for what I understood. If it still didn't hold no more compression, the rings, but it doesn't smoke. So I am really confused now. Unless I've got a valve that's stuck open. So here's the part I don't like. I don't like putting a new spark plug down in a hole where I just put a little bit of oil. But at this point, I don't know if it really matters. With 5 pounds of compression, I don't know if that really makes any difference. So we're going to put her back in there. Put the plug wire back on. We're going to put the coil wire back on. And we're going to put this 20 amp fuse back in here. All right. Now she should start and run just, well, like it was. So give me a minute here to gather my tools, get the oily stuff off of the front of the truck, and I might set you up back there on the exhaust again and see if after pouring that oil in there, if that oil would work around up through there, if it'd be a stuck valve or something silly. You never know what'll happen. Anyway, be right back. Okay, got you set back up on the exhaust after doing that test. I got the fuse back in for the fuel pump to start, and I've got the coil wire back on. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up, and you guys are sitting here watching the exhaust. So we'll see. We'll go from there. I think I seen a little bit of smoke. I'm not positive. You guys will have to tell me. I go back through and edit. I'm pretty sure I seen some, but I'm not 100%. Still running the same. I'm going to shut you off for a minute, and we're going to look around under the hood again. Okay, here we are. Again, not knowing what you can and can't hear, it's still clicking, and of course you can probably see the movement of the motor. But we're gonna go in here and see if I cleared all the check engine. There, you can see it now, I'm sure. And of course, the engine light is right back on. So I just want to touch base with you there and show you what, and get with you and tell you what was going on with the truck. Um, and we will. Sorry about that. Again, if you have any comments, um, if you have any advice, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I will read all comments. We're not channel's not great big or very big. And I will on this. I will read and answer all the comments because I'm looking for advice. Uh, I'm hoping you can hear that little bit of a click. It ain't terrible. Uh, Almost sounds like one of the new engines that they make nowadays. It just sounds like a lifter rattling from cheap gas. But I mean, that's what it sounds to me like. Anyhow, this is Jeff with Hodgepodge Hoosiers, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.